What's up, y'all? Back with more today, and here are my full thoughts on this Raiders team. Things are being changed up. They brought new guys in, and my concerns aren't even with the fucking actual franchise. It's with this fan base, bro. If you don't want to hear this, and you're a fan, you don't want to hear this, I don't care. Get out of the chat then. Because the problem is with you guys as fans, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You come up with these dumbass ideas telling us that Ziegler or McDaniels are ruining the team. This was never a team that had anything to go for. We never had a defense. So giving up Waller wasn't a problem. It never was. It never will be. He's a guy that doesn't fit the scheme. He's a guy that doesn't block, and he doesn't work out in our scheme. And we trade him for a third-round pick, which is good value for a guy that doesn't play that much. And here we are with all these crybaby fans that are, why didn't we sign this guy and this guy? We have limited cap space to work with. We have 12 draft picks. So most of the cap space you're going to be using is probably on the draft picks you have. And for the fans that are crying about Jimmy G, stop the crying. For crying out loud, give it time. This team had to be clipped down to the bare minimum. They're not bringing back Denzel Perryman. I hope they bring back Duron Harmon. The moves that we've made, Marcus Epps and Robert Spillane, are probably guys that are probably going to come in here and start. You need to bring back Rockison next to Nate Hobbs. Probably bring in one more corner outside of Facuson, which you can do in the draft because the draft board has tons of corner talent. With that 7th pick, you have to take either quarterback or D-line or edge, right? That is the only thing that you can, worry about with that 7th pick. Tight end is replaceable in this scheme. You don't need Darren Waller. You don't need these big names. And that's not what the fan base understands. The fans that we have do not understand that. You don't need the biggest names to win. And McDaniels has proved that. McDaniels has also proved to us that the losing that we had was not because of him. He still had a top 10 offense. We had a bottom 3 defense. This was Patrick Graham's fault. Everyone that's mad about Jimmy G coming in doesn't even understand it. It's not a 3-year deal. It is not. He's not going to see year 3. He might, he's going to see year 1, maybe 2. He ain't going to see year 3 because by then you should have the quarterback. Realistically, that's the realistic way to go about this. The fact of the problem is the fan base here has unrealistic expectation. That's the problem with this team here right now. They got to take time to build this, and they got to be given that time. So we just got to sit back and wait and see what they do. They're going to make the moves that make sense. They have to let the market come to them. They cannot make the market. What difference does it make if you go pay someone all of this money, right? We're getting bargain deals. Our Epps for $6 million is fine. Robert Spillane was perfectly a great addition. Only $4 million guaranteed. That's not a bad contract. And for anyone that whines about these contracts that are being given out, stop it. Jimmy G was gotten at a good price. It's the quarterback for now. Seems like that's literally what Devontae was okay with. Otherwise, he would have said something. There are problems with the fan base. The unrealistic expectation that we were going to come in here and win right away is our number one problem. We have unrealistic fans that do not understand the game of football, that are trying to call Ziegler out. Ziegler knows what the fuck he's doing. And if he traded Waller, he traded him for a goddamn good reason. Because everything he hit on last year. I've watched this guy make the right moves. From year 1, he made the right moves. McDaniels did not coach his roster. He coached John fucking Gruden's roster. This wasn't a playoff team. I've said it before. This was not a playoff team. It needed to be blown up, but it wasn't going to. These guys were not going to come in year one and blow it up. It's not what they were going to do. They wanted to run it out and see what happens. They traded Waller for a goddamn pick because he wasn't going to fit in with what they wanted. He can't block, and he makes our offense one-dimensional. I've spoke about this multiple times. We're a one-dimensional offense with Darren fucking Waller. He's not a top 5 tight end because he doesn't fucking play the game of football. He has 2 seasons that accumulate to 1 year. Get rid of the guys that are not durable and will not give you 17 games. We're handing out big contracts. You better come in and play. You better come in and play most of the games. The fan base here is unrealistic because they didn't want to see a rebuild. I don't give a damn if you want to see a rebuild. That's what needs to happen. Give McDaniels his guys so he has no reason to say that I didn't have my guys to coach. Because he's proven it. When he has his guys, he wins. Sure, it's going to take another year. So be it. If it takes another year to build this bitch up all the way right, guess what? So be it. Another unrealistic. It's unrealistic for these guys because these fans don't understand football with how Ziegler thinks. Ziegler has said this. He wasn't going to come in here and sign 15, 20 guys. It's not what he does. He has 12 draft picks. He's not replacing the entire roster. The unrealism from the fan base is my number one problem. Why did we have the expectation that things were going to change out in 1 year? The unrealistic point of view from a lot of the fans that we should have been winning year one is straight up dumb. We lost a few games because of the defense, because of Patrick Graham. I get it. He didn't have the most talent. Hopefully this next year he produces better. And so what if we go win 6 games again? Nothing like different. It's nothing different. So, what are my thoughts? It's going to take another year to 2 years. And we have to be patient. Because patience is key. When we come in here and we have this expectation that the Raiders are going to go sign 15, 20 guys, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to be disappointed because you're not realistic. Be realistic. Last year's team didn't show they were a playoff team. Couldn't finish games. That's not a playoff team. It wasn't a playoff team from the start because we showed up there. We got beat the first round. We haven't won a playoff game in 20 years plus. So how's that a playoff team? It wasn't. It never was. I guess let me know your thoughts, but my thoughts are we have unrealistic fans that aren't ready to rebuild the roster again, and so what? You know,